Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Q's Workforce Wednesday. My name is Yvonne Beals, and I am the Chief Education Officer for Center for Urban Excellence. And we have one more dynamic presentation for you this evening for Workforce Wednesdays. We have Miss Shelly Smith, who is a medical technician. And before we have her present to us, I'd like to also introduce you to Anijah. She is one of our Q administrative assistants, and she's going to present to you the background for our presenter tonight. Anijah?
Yes, so tonight we have Shelly Smith, who is an experienced cardiac monitor technician with nearly 3 decades of dedicated service in the medical field. Shelly currently resides in Vallejo, California. Her expertise lies in her exceptional ability to discern even the subtlest of challenges in heart rhythms, a skill honed over the years of dedicated practice. Beyond her profession, Shelly is a passionate indoor gardener tending to a flourishing collection of approximately 40 plants. Ooh, it's a lot. Her green thumb mirrors her attentiveness in monitoring cardiac rhythms, both requiring precision and care. She is a devoted mother of 2 beautiful children, Reina and Jayton, who are both with us this evening. She is cherishing her role as a parent alongside her professional pursuits. In addition to her career and personal life, she plays an active role in the community. She serves on our board of directors for Q, contributing her knowledge and experience to initiatives that promote growth and opportunity for others. Shelly embodies a commitment to healthcare excellence, nurturing, and community engagement. So thank you, Shelly, for joining us this evening. I'm going to go ahead and share your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Anijah. That was very nice of you. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being here. I just wanted to come and share a little bit about what I do, about, what I love to do, what my passion is. Right now, I'm a cardiac monitor tech, and I work for Queen of the Valley Hospital in Napa, California. I've been in the medical field for over 3 decades. I have personally been here at Queen of the Valley Hospital for 15 years. I love it here. I've worked in different aspects, but I've done this job the longest. It's my passion, and I love what I do. On our next slide, I do have a quick video to show you guys, just to give you just a glimpse of kind of what my day kind of consists of on a regular basis. It varies here and there, but the video, I like it because it kind of gives you a gist of what your 12 hours is about, because I work 12 hours a day. And what I do is I view and I monitor the patient's heart rhythm. I record my findings. I interpret, it's an interpretation. You have to interpret what you see and what your findings are. You maintain the records. It's up to us to report back and forth to the medical staff about what your findings are and what's happening with the patients. We also perform EKGs, and it's also our responsibility to maintain, for the most part, maintain our equipment. So you need to know your equipment, how it works, and how to keep it working. So if you could start the video, I kind of like her example. She gives a good example, kind of what you do throughout the day.
That I should be aware of, and just anything you want to share that can give any kind of insight to what your day can look like. So these are the documents that we use every day. So we have a call log, and we have a monitor log. So the call log essentially is just us writing down the room, the person who called or we called, what they called for, and then the time. This lovely piece of hardware here is our Vocera, which basically is a walkie-talkie for us to be able to communicate with the nursing staff when we have a problem.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
This is the device that we put on the patient. So it has 6 wires attached to it, and they will be hooked up to the patient just like this picture here. So I'm going to show you how we admit the patients into our system. So you'll click admit on the screen, enter the patient information. I'm going to use a fake name, last name Doe, first name Jane. And once you finish typing that information in, you're going to add the patient's room number and the box number, and this one is 8527. After you add the patient's information, you click admit, and if there was a patient hooked up to this box, their information will be shown right here on the screen. Once a patient is on tele, we have to measure their rhythm. So we have to measure the PR interval, the QRS interval, and the R to R, which is the heart rate. So after you finish getting the measurements on the computer, the printer will print out a strip for you, and this is what it looks like. So it has 2 leads on there, so you can see a normal rhythm, and it has all the measurements down at the bottom. You see the heart rate is 69. So an up-close view of what every rhythm should have is a P wave, QRS, and a T wave. So these are the things that we're looking for when we look at these strips, and if not, we need to notify the doctor. Okay, the next step is to add the rhythm interpretation on the strip, which I decided this was sinus rhythm, and then I'll go take it over to the box and wait for the nurses to come pick it up. So another part of my job is documentation. So we are supposed to be recording the patient's heart rate and rhythm every other hour. And this helps us keep track of what the patient's been doing. So if anything comes up and someone has a question about what's been going on, we can always look back and say, well, yesterday the patient went into AFib or sinus rhythm. So this is a quick glance at the kind of rhythms that you'll see on tele. This is a patient who has a pacemaker. Okay, these are 3 runs of VTAC that one patient had during our shift.
8574? Is that the board? Okay. Is that him? Yes. You ID? Yes.
Psychiatric, your attention please, all clear. Security alert, security assistance. Adult psychiatric, your attention please, all clear. Security alert, security assistance.
And occasionally we like to have fun on our shift. So sometimes we'll have a visitor and they will come entertain us for a while. Okay, and then finally, I'm recording my 5 o'clock rhythm interpretations, and then I wait until 6:30 when my relief arrives, which is the night shift, and then it's finally my turn to give report to her.
Okay, thank you. So that's just kind of overview of how our day goes. Um, Basically what our job description is, monitoring, reporting off to cardiologists and nurses about, what the patient's heart rhythm is doing. Um, it could be a matter of life and death. You have to be very detail oriented. You have to go over your work and make sure you didn't miss anything. I wanted to talk about, what inspired me to become a monitor tech is that I love working in the hospital. I've worked in different departments. I've had different jobs, but this is kind of what I love the most because it's always a learning experience. You have a lot of interaction with doctors and people that are much smarter than you that are willing to share their knowledge, and it's something to learn every day. It's every day is different. You know, unexpected, exciting things happening. And then you're part of a healthcare team that's helping people. So that's kind of what inspired me to become a monitor tech. When it was first offered to me, I was kind of hesitant because I didn't think that I could do it. It's intimidating. It's the heart. It's so much, but it's become something that I love and I've done it a long time. So it's kind of second nature. Let's see. So the education that you need, most entry level positions, you need a high school diploma or equivalent. Um, they want you to be comfortable with using technology and medical equipment. They want you to have some background in medical terminology, be proficient with computers and electronics as well. They also require that you get your BLS, which is basically a CPR certificate, but it includes additional life-saving techniques that can help if somebody's experiencing cardiac arrest or respiratory distress. And they also require that you take a basic EKG interpretation course. It covers the basic heart anatomy, electrophysiology, and the EKG structures. We also, not really deeply, but are also educated in pharmacology because we have to know what the medications that the patient are taking, what effect it has on the heart. So that's also what we're also educated on, is a lot of the pharmacology. And, we need to just have continuing education. We have classes and courses that we have to take just to keep us refreshed on things that we don't see often that we might come across. We just don't want to forget or miss anything. So challenges and solutions. For me, our biggest challenges is technology. It fails. It's not always working correctly. You have to know when things aren't working correctly. You have to find solutions. You have to find workarounds, because not watching your patient or not taking care or monitoring a patient is not an option. So you have to know your system. You have to know your telemetry boxes. You have to figure out a way to still monitor and take care of your patients. So for me, the biggest challenges I face is when our systems fail, because they do fail. And then we have to figure out how to still take care and monitor the patients. We also we're not on our own. We have here in the hospital, we have a biomedical engineering team that they're here from like 9 to 5, but afterwards they're always on call. So if anything crashes, we'll give them a call and they have an hour to get here. They hate getting those after hour calls, but this is a 24-hour business. We don't close, and taking care of patients is our first priority. So we do have that support, but you also need to know your systems and know your machines just in case something happens. So for me, the benefits of being a monitor tech is, the biggest part for me is just being part of a team, being part of a team that takes care of patients. We're mostly 12-hour shifts, 3 days a week, so our schedule is super flexible. That's a big one as well. It's unlimited overtime because just the hospital is always short, so we can work as much overtime as we like. So you have that control. I love helping people and supporting your nursing staff. We're part of that healthcare team, of taking care of patients. My favorite part is the interaction with the cardiologist, because they just have so much knowledge, a lot of it above your pay grade, but I just love learning and hearing, and they love teaching. So that's a big part of it for me. And just understanding, medical terminology and understanding the effects that certain medications have on the heart and on your body. So for me, those are bit benefits of being a monitor tech. Also, it's huge if you want to go further and get into nursing, any kind of nursing. This is a big part of your nursing, classes is EKG, understanding the hearts and being able to interpret rhythms. This is a huge part of when you're trying to get a nursing degree as well. Okay, let's see. And also the pay, I've kind of did a little research on, I've seen people start pay $26 to $46. It also depends on, where you work and how long you've been doing it. Of course, in our area, San Francisco Bay Area, we always know that San Francisco is going to always pay the most. They pay the most in our area, because we're in the Bay Area. They usually pay the most. But when you get into the main hospitals, Kaiser's always one of the top people that pay the most. It just depends, where you go and your experience. Excellent. And my advice for becoming a monitor tech is do your research, but like that video was amazing research, just to kind of get a glimpse into what it is that your job description is going to be. Do your homework, talk to people, ask around, see if this is what you want to do or something that you're interested in, and then go for it. Just don't get intimidated by it, because a lot of people are intimidated by the heart, because it's the heart. Like, do not get intimidated by it. I was intimidated by it. I took the class twice because I just felt like I didn't know enough. I took what I learned in the class and I went home and I Googled and I looked at medical books and I did my own research because I just was unsure of myself. You're not supposed to know it all. You're part of a team. It's okay if you don't know it all. You just ask questions, and everybody's here to support you. I would say just go for it. And if I've told people before, if you have any questions, if I can help you learn how to do interpretations, if you just have any kind of questions or anything, I am free for questions. You can reach out to me. I'll help you study. I'll point you in the right directions. I can give you books and literature to help you along the way. So my advice is, if you want to do it, just do your research and just jump in there and do it. You'll be surprised how what you're intimidated by will just soon become second nature after you do it for a while. Did anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Miss Shelley, for the insightfulness of what your profession is. It certainly opened my eyes and have a great appreciation to know that people like you are taking care of our hearts and our loved ones' hearts in the hospitals when we need that care the most. So I thank you for all that you do for our patients and for the families. At this time, do we have any questions that you'd like to unmute yourself or put in the chat?
Thank you, Yvonne. Well, you guys don't have any questions, you feel free to reach out to me. I think I know everybody, almost everybody in here. If you guys want to reach out to me or have any questions or need any help with anything, just let me know. What you found to be the most difficult part? The most difficult part for me really is people passing away. You know, we watch people's heartbeat for the last time, and to me that's the hardest part sometimes, because if people in the hospital, they're human beings, you see people, they have families, they have children, they have loved ones. So for me, that's the hardest part.
Yeah, that's tough. I can only imagine. What are there any other questions that you might have for Miss Shelley? This is a courageous profession as well. What did you see any difference during COVID? I'm just kind of
Yeah, COVID was rough. COVID was really rough because everybody that was admitted in the hospital with COVID ultimately was having heart trouble. Like it was really strange, the effect that COVID had on people's body, and if you were admitted in the hospital with COVID, you definitely was on telly. So our caseload kind of doubled. It was just nonstop. It was rough for a couple of years. It was. And yeah, COVID was no joke, and yeah, it was just rough. And we were just happy when it started letting up, it just because COVID was really rough on people's heart, and they're having lasting heart troubles. Corinne, you said what other department did I work in? Let's see, I was a CNA for a while. I did staffing. I also was an administrative assistant to my nurse manager, to my manager, but I like patient care. I like hands-on. I would rather do something that's patient related. Like I liked doing staff, and that was fine. I liked, you know, the administrative assistant part of it. That was okay too. But I wanted something that was directly patient, had something directly to do with the patient. And I know that we're not in the room with the nurses. I wasn't a CNA anymore. I didn't have hands-on with the patients, but we're like behind the scenes taking care of patients. And that's what I like. I like the patient care aspect of it. I just like working in a hospital. It's exciting, it's not all sad. It's funny, it's crazy, it's weird, it's just never a dull moment, working with the public, and working with people. It's exciting. It's something new every day.
there is another question in the chat. It says, what do you do to stay strong, unattached, or feel a way about your patient's condition?
Well, it's really no way to unattach yourself. I think that's why we're here. We just like so goofy and silly because we're trying to you have to keep that human aspect. You can't totally disconnect because they are people and they do need that humanity part of it. But we just try to keep each other light, and then you go home and you have to decompress. Like, you're probably one of the people that have helped me cope over the years, because sometimes you have to just go home and disconnect from what's happening inside the hospital, because it can get overwhelming. Yeah, especially during COVID, it was just like too much, people were really just getting overwhelmed about, a lot of things that were happening. So you just have to have a way to disconnect and to recharge yourself and to center yourself and to bring yourself back to why you're doing it and, who you're helping. And I think that helps a lot.
Always send the nursing station coffee and donuts and a seed of candy.
Right. And candy, they love it, and yeah, we just try to keep each other centered, because it can be a lot. And like I said, I think that's why we're so silly and goofy, because we just got to keep each other laughing and kind of keep each other, kind of centered, and just help each other not let it get too heavy, because it can get there.
Thank you again. Does anyone have one last question for Miss Shelly? Hey, yes, we are all very blessed for people like you and all of the hospital staff that really take care of our loved ones and for us. So we thank you again for sharing your time with us and your professional journey with us. Thank you to all of you who have participated and continue to participate every week. We know that you could be making other choices, so we appreciate your dedication to Q and Workforce Wednesday. We do not have the QR code for the eval available, but Anijah is going to send up a follow-up email with the presentation and contact information. And if you could fill out the QR code there, that's where you'll get your credit. So thank you again, Ms. Shelly, you staff, and all of you for participating. And if nothing else,
Thank you. Oh, sorry. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate you listening about my day every day. Now you guys know what I do every day, and come home and be silly and goofy.
Okay. All right, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.